All right, check out our new sponsor, Greenwood Stocks. They want you to know how to be able to trade stocks and be your own boss and be free to travel the world by making passive income. We all need that passive income from stock market. What are you waiting for? Call or text 281-760-3170. If you didn't catch that, that's on your screen. Or check them out at social media, Greenwood Stocks, and catch them at Gmail, greenwoodstocktrading at Gmail, and the YouTube channel is Greenwood Stocks. Appreciate them for giving me the opportunity. Check them out. We out. All right, man. Blake Griffin was told by Celtics players not to join the Boston Celtics due to dysfunction. But first, we're going to talk about Brad Stevens and Kemba Walker. And a lot of Celtics players are saying that they wanted a coach of color, okay, and basically kind of alluding that Brad Stevenson was racist or didn't know how to really communicate with them or really get them. But let's start off with the Celtics rumor. Kemba Walker, Brad Stevens' relationship was tension-filled. Several players for the Boston Celtics reportedly had issues with Brad Stevenson's approach as a head coach, per Jerry Weiss of the Athletics. The dynamic between Stevens and Kemba Walker was tension-filled, and at some point they did butt heads, though the pair were considered to have a productive working relationship and mutual respect for one another. Weiss noted that Stevenson was more aggressive with certain players this season after Gordon Hayward, who joined the Charlotte Hornets during the offseason, followed 3 campaigns in Boston, told him he needed to establish a stronger voice with the players if they were going to win. The aggressive approach Stevenson took with Walker involved criticism from his defensive mistakes. There was speculation early this month that Walker stayed in Boston likely wasn't going to be much longer. Bleacher Reports, Farad reported on June 9th the Celtics and Walker were likely to move forward from their relationship this offseason in a mutual agreement between parties. The divorce became official Friday when Boston traded Kemba Walker and 2 draft picks to OKC Thunder for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round draft pick. Walker signed a 4-year contract in Boston in July 2019. He started strong with the organization, averaging 21.8 points, 5 assists per game, with a 38.8% three-point percentage in the first half of 19 and 20 season. Knee issues hampered him in the second half of the season and continued to cause problems throughout the 2020-2021 campaign. Walker's 19.3 points per game this season represented the lowest average since 14-15. While at the Charlotte Hornets, the Celtics went 36-36 and were eliminated from the playoffs by the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. Brad Stevens vacated his position as head coach to take over as president of basketball operations after Danny Ainge retired June 2nd. So apparently Gordon Hayward gave him some bad advice. Remember, Gordon Hayward and him, they almost won a national championship at Butler, so they had some type of rapport and he had some type of trust. And that may have been true, but coming from Gordon Hayward, he was a white player, so I don't know how he really much connected with the rest of the young black players there. But when Kyrie was there were some issues. Remember, he said them dudes didn't really work hard enough. They really didn't care and really didn't put the work in. But you was dealing with kids. I remember Jason Tatum. They was hating on Jason Tatum like his second year there. He had a big dunk over LeBron. Had a great Game 7. And then the veterans just start hating on him. They didn't want to relinquish the team over them. And he had a bad sophomore year. And it was just because the veterans, man. So Boston had a lot going on. And I didn't hear no inside information. You can look and see they wasn't passing the ball. Everybody was trying to get theirs. And they wasn't really willing to turn the keys over to Jason Tatum. And maybe that's why they traded a few guys for that to happen. And Kyrie wasn't really part of that. It was, Kyrie was injured, but you could tell. But Kyrie ended up moving on, and they didn't want to turn the keys over to the guy. It was Jason Tatum team after he banged on LeBron and showed up Game 7. And a lot of y'all didn't show up Game 7. That was his team. And whether it was Al Horford or whoever else was there, they wasn't really willing to relinquish that. That's just the fact of the matter. They wasn't really willing to relinquish the power to the kid. And quite frankly, man, it's hard. It's hard. You got a 21-year-old kid coming in. It's his team. You like, nigga, what? If you go back to that conference finals, none of them fools stepped up. None of them dudes stepped up. Tatum was playing with aggression. He stepped up. And that was him. But I don't know what to say, man. But Brad Stevenson, man, it's probably a disconnect between him it's probably a disconnect between him and the black players, and obviously as the president of basketball operations, is pretty much like a you pretty much still got to interact with the players. So I mean, he from like where Brad Stevens from, somewhere in Indiana, and come on, man, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he know how to connect with the players. And as a GM, you don't have to connect as much of the players as the coach, but it's still some connection there. You still got to chop it up. You still got to check on the guys. And I don't know if it was, I don't think he racist. I just think he just don't know how to connect. That's it. It's just that he don't know how to connect. That's it, man. And sometimes you don't know how to set that rapport with players. Sometimes it's a disconnect. Remember on Any Given Sunday, when Robert De Niro went to Jamie Foxx on the plane, and he said, "What you listen to, Trick Daddy?" He said, "Who?" So there is a cultural disconnect. And when you when you employed in a place where it's 80-90% black people, whew, maybe they need to put them in an internship to work with the youth. But but you see how with the white coaches, they part ways and they get they get promotions. But I just think they really like Brad Stevenson, and that's why he got a promotion. But it says report Blake Griffin was told by Celtics players not to join. All is not well with in the Boston Celtics locker room. When Blake Griffin was choosing the team to join the season after his buyout from Detroit, he reportedly asked the Celtics player if he should join the team mid-season and was told not to come because of the parent dysfunction, per Jared Weiss of The Athletics. It's not terribly surprising that all might not be well in Boston after talented roster managed to go 36-36 was uncertainly defeated in the first round by the Brooklyn Nets in 5 games. Boston also wasted a little time shaking up the roster, reportedly dealing Kemba Walker to OKC. Okay, after the season, president of basketball Operation Danny Ainge retired from head coach, former head coach Brad Stevens replaced him. One of the locker room issues between Walker and Stevenson was White's reported relationship was tension-filled, and Stevens. We read all this, okay, just to repeat. The team defense was worse the season prior, with White's known Marcus Smart was alone and trying to establish that accountability. Weiss also wrote the Celtics culture and competition to wrote it with more than one source pointing to the players' perceived difference towards Kyrie Irving stumping on the logo after the final home game of the season as a red flag. They did not exhibit the same sense of pride in the organization that has been the Celtics calling card in past years. Changes are needed and apparently played after in keeping Griffin away from the Celtics, and granted, he landed a pretty big role in a good situation with the Knicks, who played Milwaukee Bucks in Game 7 Saturday night. They did. Ultimately, man, I don't know who those players was, but, when you got players like that, man, you need to find out who those players was and get them the hell out the locker room. You want to talk stuff, behind back like a reporter, like a little girl. Get out this locker room. We don't need no traitors. Even if it's Tatum, even if it's Tatum, we don't need no traitors. And if y'all want to come in this locker room and y'all want to be a unit, don't try to sabotage the team. Even though they was keeping it real, them players got to go. Maybe it was Kemba Walker. Because I don't know how much connection that Blake Griffin got to anybody else, but him and Kemba Walker on Team Jordan. But, it's dysfunctional when that go down. When they say, well, don't come here, don't play here, man. It's a whoopty, blam, blam, blam. You know it's dysfunctional when that shit happen. You know it is, man. And ultimately, man, I ain't got no love for Boston. We fought them for years in Detroit back in the day, 2000s. Good. It seemed like the NBA always like to keep Boston afloat. They love making sure Boston and LA, they don't stay down for long. They love to make sure that they stay up. Stay up, Kane. They love making sure them teams stay up, and that's my problem with the NBA, dude, is that no parity, and finally we got some parity. With Suns and the Clippers today at 3:30, Game 7, Atlanta 76ers, and you got Milwaukee that made it. Cool. I could rock with that. Good. But we just needed some parity and finally got it, and hopefully, man, everybody support support it so it can have high ratings, man, and you know, the NBA can see that we don't want just superstar teams and we don't want super duper teams. We want a good balanced team. If it come together like OKC, okay, cool, I can take it. But all these dudes teaming up, glad Harden didn't get a championship. Glad he didn't get no damn championship. Glad, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsor, video quest. Check out our NBA Talk playlist. You can always reach me, Facebook group, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all four. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well too. Best way to donate. Share the video. Appreciate the love and support. One time for the one time. Goodfellas Sports TV. Peace.